getting drunk, are you ready to meet me? I'm lit and I'm riding the fast lane. Don't let me down, I'm on fire.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, everyone, wherever you're joining from. Thank you very much. Thanks for joining me again on the show Masterclass with Tokwe Bandele. I'm so glad that you're here with me today. And as we always say, if you're not at MCTB on a Saturday like this, then where should you be? All right, great. 12 minutes in the show, then we have to just start now. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, once again. I say welcome to Masterclass with Bandele. And with me on the show today is my special guest, someone I respect so much, someone I look up to, meeting him one day one-on-one physically. Someone asked me today, where did you know Teju Babyface? I said, hey, this is power of networking. All right, so thanks so much to Dimlade, that's a lawyer of Teju who linked us up. Thank you very much, my dear good friend. So let me bring Teju on the show, and I'll do a brief introduction of this powerful man. I can't introduce him enough, but let's just see. Let me try to do my best. Okay, where are you, sir? Okay, I need to bring you up on video. That's it. Bro, someone said we look alike. Well, we'll talk about that later. Later today.
You are the final version.
Hey, bros, this is not a comedy show.
The final
All
version.
right, so ladies and gentlemen, I have Teju Babyface here. Teju Babyface, for those of you that don't know his real name, is Badewono Olateju Oyelakin. That name sounds so powerful, right? Yes, it is. That's a powerful man right there. He's known professionally as Teju Babyface. He's a Nigerian, a comedian, and a talk show host. He's credited with giving Nigerians its first offering of late night talk television with the multi-award winning The Teju Babyface Show. A lot of you must have seen The Teju Babyface Show. If you've not seen that, I don't know how well, then maybe you're not Nigerian. So Teju Babyface was born January 20, 1979, known professionally as Teju Babyface, as I said, is the founder and lead mentor at the Mentorship Foundation Africa, formerly known as the Teju Babyface Mentoring Academy. He is also a United Nations Sustainable Development Goals Ambassador for Nigeria, with a focus on decent work and economic growth. He runs a company called the Visos Project. Let me tell you a bit. In 2016, Teju Babyface published the book Secret of the Secret, 23 Secrets for Achieving Success with Talent. He started his career as an actor and a comedian. He still runs comedy till today. And his major break was the creation of his talk show, the Teju Babyface Show, which he still produces and still runs. Where is the drum roll? Ladies and gentlemen, join me as I welcome Teju Babyface. How are you, sir?
I'm very well, thank you. Good evening.
Good evening to you. I know it's so difficult bringing you on board. I understand how busy you are. I don't take this for granted. Thank you very, very, very much. It's an honor to have you on Masterclass with Tokwe Bandele. I'm going to have the wall of honor again, and I have Teju Babyface on that wall. Wow, this is fantastic. This is really an honor to me. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Thanks for joining us. Guys, yeah, so we're going to kickstart the show, and I would like that you, at the beginning, just, start dropping. Someone said a round of applause for Babyface. That's true. Start dropping your comments, and let's make this show very, very interactive. All right. So I wouldn't ask you to introduce yourself anymore. I think I did that a little bit. I tried. But I'm going to ask you, what is so different about Teju Babyface?
Well, I mean, there's nobody that looks like me. I mean, I guess that's different enough. I mean, we're all different.
Yeah.
One from the other. I mean, they say you look like me. They say you look like the final version of me. But hey, even when we're beside each other, then we look different. So I guess even from our physical makeup, we're all different individually, and whatever we put out there to the market, then the market gets to, adjudicate and judge as to our differences. I guess we can only be authentic to ourselves. So if I have any difference, it probably lies in my learning after several painful experiences in my career that the quickest way to success is authenticity. So I guess your authenticity is your difference. It's,
I love that, the authenticity. Great. So now talking about the topic of today, which is about talent. I want to believe that everyone really has something in them, talent, gifts, whatever. So what is your own version of converting talent to profit? And I would like you to use your own experiences, or you mentioned about, yes, having some bad experience as well, maybe not too bad as some other people, and maybe better than some other people. Yeah. So what has this taught you, and what is that lesson that we should pick? Because you came into the limelight, into the movie industry, you came into the comedy industry. Afterwards, we started hearing you on the about the talk show, different other things. You're a book writer. You still compare. You do a lot of stuffs, and I'm not sure you went to a school to learn some of this, but maybe you do. Maybe that's what we want to hear about tonight.
Okay, just out of curiosity, I keep hearing like like a bell chime every now and again.
Yeah, it's that? People joining. People joining. So anytime they join, there's this bell sound.
Okay, this is the first time I'm hearing that. Is there some way to put it on mute or something? I'm sure there must be some way.
Okay, sorry. Maybe the MCTB team, just look at that from the background. Let's see how we can put that.
Yeah, because I keep thinking, because I have a security system in the house that sounds a bit like that. So every time, whenever you open the door, that chime goes off, and I keep getting the impression that one of the twins has opened the door.
Oh, okay. No, I don't think so, but I'll try and see how I can take that out. Yeah.
All right. Okay, great. Before we start speaking of converting your talent into profit or profitability and all of that, we need to establish a few ground rules. Everybody has talent. I'm sure you know that, but we use the words talent and gifts interchangeably, and they can work like that mostly when you're speaking to people. You can say your talent, you can say your gift, you can use them to mean the same thing. You can use them interchangeably, but they do not exactly mean the same thing in my experience. Your talent is quite different from your gifts. And if you notice, I have gone with the singular form with the former, and I've gone with the plural in the latter. I said your talent, singular, and then I said your gifts. So that's singular, talent, gifts, plural. It is because I believe that you have only one talent, but you have many gifts, or you will have several gifts over the course of your life and your existence, but you will usually have only one talent. And the problem that you're going to have to surmount as a creative person is in trying to decipher and to narrow down and to dial down as to what your actual talent is, what your core talent is. And for a long time, for quite a while, you're going to be confused about your talent versus your gifts. But the moment you dial down what your talent is, then it will be easier for you. So, of course, I'm going to use myself as an example. I find that it's usually more relatable when you're speaking from what you know. As I always say, I cannot speak to every other person, and I will usually not call myself an authority on any subject. Usually, I can only speak to the things that I know. So now you will have one talent, but you'll have many gifts. So think of a tree. A tree. Your talent will be the tree. Your gifts will be the fruits on the tree that come from the tree. And like all trees with fruits, the fruits come into and out of season. So you're going to, produce fruits. Those are going to be your gifts. After a season, the fruits are going to fall off the tree, and then you're going to be bare for a while. And then the next season comes, and then you have fruits again. but the talent remains the same. Okay. The problem with a lot of people is that they try to build their entire careers around the gifts or the gifts of the tree of their talent while ignoring the talent. That's number one. And then number two, they also forget that seasons pass. So the seasons pass and the fruit that was on the tree dropped to the ground or is plucked by people or the birds of the air eat it. Whichever way the fruit serves nature. Either people are eating the fruit and it's serving humanity, or the birds of the air are eating the fruit and serving nature, or the fruit itself is falling to the ground and it is fertilizing the ground as manure or nutrients and it is serving nature. Whatever the case, after several seasons or after a season, depending on what kind of tree you are and what kind of fruit you're producing. You could be an annual tree where the fruits go in and out of season annually. You could be biannual where it is once every 2 years. You could be longer than that, you know. But after a season, the fruits of the tree fall and they go. The problem with most people is that they build everything around the gift.
Around the gift.
And so when the season is past, they still try to catch it. They wonder why things are not working again. They try to do the same things over and over and over again, not realizing that the season is past. The season is past. It is time to dial down, you know, and to wait for the next season, for the next fruit. So you find stories of people who used to reign. Just when you've wondered whether it's celebrities or whether it is professionals, when you find that people were impactful once upon a time, then all of a sudden they are no longer impactful and you're wondering, hey, what happened to that guy? Hey, what happened to that guy? It's one of two things. It's either they have understood and apprehended the wisdom and the knowledge that it is time to move on, or alternatively, they did not apprehend that knowledge and they struggled to build, you know, structures around things that were passing, and now they're nowhere to be found. They are irrelevant. So you need to understand that your talent remains. Now, to use myself as an example, my talent, as it were, is not comedy, as most people assume. My talent, as it were, is not hosting a talk show, as most people assume. My talent, as it were, is not acting, as many people assumed all those years ago when we did Diamond Ring. My talent is not writing, as some people assume now that I've written 2 books. My talent is not emceeing. Very, very good at that, actually, as many people assume. My talent is none of those things. All those things are gifts, you know, the fruits of the tree. My actual talent is called the gift of the gab. The gift of the gab.
What?
The gift of the gab. G-A-B.
G-A-B. What does that mean?
The gift of the gab. I'm about to explain it to you. The gift of the gab is the ability to speak and communicate persuasively. To speak and to communicate persuasively. The Bible says that the sweetness of lips increases learning. So if you look in my Bible, I have underlined that place and I have written in the Yoruba language, "Aloyin lohun," you know, as Abbas Akande Obesere used to say. So Aloyin lohun is one who has honey in the way he speaks. The gift of the gab is the ability to speak easily, persuasively, you know, compelling without thinking about it. People who have the gift of the gab can think it. Some of them write it. Some of them speak it. Some of them perform it. It's just the ability to be able to speak persuasively, communicate compelling in a compelling manner, to be a force with your vocals in a manner of speaking. And the proof of that to you is that I've been speaking to you now for upwards of maybe it's about 10 minutes now.
Yeah.
I have
effortlessly.
I have rehearsed none of these things. I did not even give thought to what I was going to say. Really, I just figured that when you asked the question, the gift was going to flow, the unction was going to flow, and I was not going to have any problems with communicating with you and the rest of the people. So that is the gift of the gab. Now, even though I call it the gift of the gab,
It's still the
that's the
talent.
technical term. Yes, it's a talent actually. So out of that gift flows every other thing that I do. When I was in high school, what we call secondary school in Nigeria, I was on the debating team. In fact, I've been on the debating team even as far back as my elementary school, my primary school. And of course, I always won all the debates. That was, in fact, not only did I win all the debates, I was always team leader. You couldn't basically outtalk me. So that's the difference between your talent and your gift. So if
Wow.
you're going to turn your talent into profit, you cannot technically turn your talent into profit.
Before you go into that, can I interrupt you a little bit?
Oh, go ahead.
So,
Why stop now?
yeah, no. So don't you think that the environment or the situation of life has actually made people cling so much to those gifts, and eventually they refuse to let go, even when they are fading. They don't realize it on time. Is that the pressure of life? Do you recognize that, or you just recognize that a lack of understanding? Because what you said today, if anybody's gonna, any one of us here in this room, I'm 70% sure that everyone will say, "Oh, Teju's talent is in acting, or Teju's talent is in comedy." But now you're letting us know that those are just gifts. But you did yourself so good that you did not hold on to it much to let it weigh down your main talent. So don't you think, or how do I put this question? Don't you think that people today that are no longer relevant, it could be linked to the fact that they are holding on to their gifts rather than actually building and nurturing their talents?
Okay, so the good book says that as surely as sparks fly upward from the fire, so man is born unto trouble.
Hmm.
So man is born unto trouble. Life is tough. Life is very tough. In the first place, for you to even do anything in the first place as a professional, as a creative professional, for you to do anything in the first place that people actually like and buy, for you to either release music or put yourself out there as a comedian, or to be a thespian and act in the theater or act in the movies, for you to do anything that resonates with the market in the first place, to the degree that the market is willing to reward you and your creativity, is already a breakthrough. Most people in life may never get to that point.
That's true.
So that is already a relief. Now, for somebody to now tell you, having struck that vein of gold, for someone to now tell you that you're going to have to leave it after a while, is a gamble that not many people
Not
can
many
take.
people want. Yeah.
Especially when you're in a place like, if you come from where I come from, Nigeria, if you manage to hit it in the first place, then you want to, as we say, you want to die there, or rather want to die dear. There's no there.
Yeah.
You want to die dear. It's not die there. You want to die dear. You already did this thing after trying so much and trying for so long. You finally did this thing and now you're here. And now somebody is telling you after a while that the fruit is going to fall from the tree and it is going to die, and then you have to move on. No, 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 no. We die dear. If something is broken, you don't fix it. What do you mean? You don't change a winning team. What do you mean you change? However, Jesus said that unless a kernel of wheat falls to the ground and dies, it remains as it is. But if it dies, it brings forth much more. So the sad truth is that, or the painful truth, or the truth that you have to grapple with in career, is that at some point you have to be willing to let go of what is in your hand to apprehend bigger things. If you keep holding on to the knowledge of your career as you know it, you're invariably going to be irrelevant at some point. Think of everybody whom you know. Think of everybody whom you know. Unless you let something go at some point, you're going to go into irrelevance. You can't help it. Now, here's the thing. You can either willingly surrender yourself to providence, surrender yourself to God, and trust God to midwife you through the process of going from one level to another level, or you can hold on to that which you have and allow life by itself to force
come
it out.
back to it.
The point I'm trying to make is whether you let go willingly or you refuse and you wait for life to force you out. At some point, you're going to go through a wilderness, okay? At some point, the only difference, if you trust God enough to let go of what is in your hand and reinvent, is that when you go through your wilderness, and that wilderness is going to be a tough place, you're going to be broke sometimes, you're going to go through obscurity. Some of the questions you fear, people are going to ask them of you, where's that guy, Seth? Whatever happened to him? Whatever happened to his career? You're going to have to answer those questions. But if you trust God and you trust providence enough to surrender yourself, when you begin to get the feeling that, man, I think this phase of my career is over. These fruits are about to fall off the tree. The season for these fruits is over, if you trust God enough and you release yourself into the hands of providence, you will go through the wilderness, but eventually you're going to come across the Jordan. You're going to come into the promised land, in a manner of speaking, and then the glory of your latter shall be greater than the glory of your former. However, if you refuse, and despite life trying to tell you in several ways, and life will tell you over several years that it's time to change this, it's time to change this. But if you refuse and you stay there, at some point, life is going to force it from your hand and you're going to find yourself in the wilderness. Unfortunately, when you get to that point and you find yourself in the wilderness, because without faith, it is impossible to please God. So you're in this wilderness, but you didn't get there in faith. All right? So you're just going to circle around that wilderness until, God forbid, you die. Okay. Now, here's the funny thing about going out in faith and not going out in faith. Both of you are going to find yourself in the wilderness at some point.
Definitely.
Okay, so at some point, the symptoms that both of you are going to exhibit are going to look to people like the same. The symptoms for somebody who is navigating the interregnum of reinvention, the symptoms of somebody who has willingly surrendered himself to reinvention, and that of somebody who is going into irrelevance. The symptoms are the same for a while. Okay, they don't hear about both of you for a while. They wonder what is happening with both of you for a while. The only difference is that when you have gone out in faith and you've surrendered yourself to God for invention, eventually you're going to come out and people are going to say, oh, how did he do it? How did she do it?
But so, I'm sorry to cut in again.
No, again, why? Go ahead.
For a lot of people, it's not that simple. Because sometimes, of course, back in Nigeria, for a lot of us that are from Nigeria, we are so used to with the hustle, with the manage, that even when it is time for us to pull the plug, we still feel, it's part of the austin of life, it's part of the challenges of life. If we don't, it's part of the wilderness of life. The question is, how do we recognize when it is time to cut off? How do we recognize, what is the indicator for that time to pull the plug? Because a lot of people today, I don't know if I'm the only one, but guys, if you're having this kind of experience, you can put it in the chat box. A lot of people actually are holding on so much to things that are not working. But because, number one, there are no alternatives. Well, I totally agree. Maybe they have not seen the alternative or they've not seen the options. Number two, they just believe in what you said, that don't change a winning team. So what would you say to us? What are those indicators? What are the signs that we should see that should tell us, hey, guy, what you're holding on to, it's faded already. The fruit is getting rotten now. You need to take a step back and move into other things. What are those indicators? I thought you said comedy isn't your talent.
Okay, so that is King Sunny Ade on the album Savior. It's 1986 or thereabout. Anyway, it all comes down to nature. The Yoruba people say that Alatishe oni machishara. This goes to translation means that you know yourself best and better than any other person. There are always symptoms to let you know, okay? When grace and favor depart from a place, okay? God said to the children of Israel, he said that a pillar of cloud is going to lead you by day and a pillar of fire by night. And whenever those pillars stop, whether by night or by day, then that means that you guys need to stay there. And then whenever the pillar moves, then you guys follow the pillar. So in a manner of speaking, metaphorically speaking, figuratively speaking, in all our lives, whether or not you believe in God, you have those pillars and those signs that guide you in your life. There are times when the favor is rife, when you have the grace to do something. But after a while, you begin to sense things like the departure of favor and the departure of grace and the departure. And when those things begin to happen, that is life trying to tell you that perhaps it is time to move on. And so that's when you have to do some introspection and begin to ask yourself, or ask your head, as we believe in Africa. Basically, ask your spirit, what is this? Sometimes you come up against and you surmount some resistance. Now, sometimes that resistance is resistance that you need to battle against. You need to wage war. You need to fight to break down those walls. Sometimes it is resistance. At other times, it is not resistance. At other times, it is providence that has shut the door. You see, sometimes God shuts doors. People don't know that, okay? God actually shuts doors. So how do you know whether it's God that has shut a door or whether it is, as we like to say, where I come from, your enemies that have shut the door?
Your village
So in
people.
one case, yes, in one case, you need to fight. In the other case, you need to just put your hands up and just follow God, okay? For he says, say these things to the church of Philadelphia. This thing says he who is holy, he who is true, he who holds the key of David, he who opens. When you use those, when you're trying to do vowels that follow each other, it's sometimes tricky. He who opens. He who opens. Because so one is ha, one is without the ha. So there's three of that. He who opened. Be careful, especially as an African person. Let's you go and say, he who. So this thing says, he who is holy, he who is true, he who holds the key of David, he who opens and no one shuts, and he shuts and no one opens. Behold, I have seen your works and I've opened a door before you. Okay. So God is in the business of opening and shutting. Okay. We open, we shut. God opens, God shuts. Okay. So how do you know? That's where you have to ask your spirit. So you will know it is time to move when favor begins to depart. When the cloud of fire and the pillar of fire and the cloud by day begin to depart. When you start finding it difficult. When all of a sudden where you used to find honor, there is no longer honor, there's no longer grace, there's no longer favor, there's no longer ease. It's time to begin to ask yourself that maybe it's time to move. For example, I'll give you a very practical example.
Yeah.
I came to the limelight the first time in a movie called Diamond Ring. I acted in Diamond Ring when I was in year 2 in the University of Lagos. To underscore what I'm talking about, Tadio Gidon was and is still the biggest movie director in Nigeria. It's definitely one of the two, okay? It's either Tadio or Tunde Kelani.
Yeah.
Them two guys. Now, at that time, Uncle Tade was exactly at the peak of his production, you know. Now he's such a superstar legend that he releases once in a while. But back in the day, he was at that peak. He had just done Hostages a few years ago. They had just done Raging Storm. They had just done out of, I think that was which was the one with Richard Mufe Damijo. I keep forgetting, was it Bondages or whatever? The one, you know, so it was
Living in Bondage, right?
I forget what it was, the one with RMD, you know, it was a big movie. So Tadio Gidon was, so to act in a Tadio Gidon movie was the beginning and the end of your career as, you know, an African actor back in the day. I mean, I am in year 2 in the University of Lagos. I belong to an acting group on campus. I mean, we're just students and I joined that acting group just to attract girls. That's all I'm doing, okay? You know, that's why I went to University of Lagos. It was about the babes, man, the Morimi babes. And since I didn't have a car and I didn't have money and I didn't have all the nice clothes, the only way that I could attract the babes was to become popular on campus. So that was why I was acting. You know, I joined this group.
You succeed.
You know, yeah, you know, I joined this group. We're acting on campus. And then one day, I'm in my room, and I'll never forget, this is the day that Nigeria is playing Denmark in the qualifiers or a friendly match before France 98. Okay. And I'll never forget that that was the day that, as my friends like to put it, something, a spirit possessed the Nigerian goalkeeper at that time, Omoya Laja, Abiodun Barua, you know, Omoya Laja, who was the shoo-in goalkeeper. It was Abiodun Barua that was going to go and keep for us at the, you know, at the World Cup. And for some reason, there was a back pass to Abiodun Barua. And instead of Abiodun Barua to clear the ball, Abiodun Barua decided to dribble. I forgot the name of the Danish player. He was trying to dribble the player, and the player just, you know, dispossessed him of the ball, and they scored. And that was the end of Abiodun Barua's career. So I remember that was the match I was watching when there was a knock on my door, and they said that Tadio Gidon is at the main auditorium. He's here auditioning a few people for a movie, and you know, he came to our group. He came to Theater 15. He heard that there was a group in the University of Lagos that were actors, and so he came to see whether there was any of them that he could use for the role in his movie. So they mentioned me, and so they've come to my room And so I should go to the main auditorium. We're talking about 9 p.m. at night. Am I really? Okay, so I walked to the main auditorium, and truly, there was the legend himself with a couple members of his team and the camera. They're doing what they call a screen test, and they're auditioning a couple of guys from my group. One of the guys, in fact, the guy they were auditioning at that time was Kaboom of Tribesmen. Whether you like him, whether
you know, like, you shake body.
So, he's a member of my group in school, theater.
Okay.
He's the one they are auditioning. And so I get there. And I actually auditioned what might have been the worst audition in the world. And Sadio Gido takes a look at me and he says, you know what? Come to my office and read the scripts. If you do well, you know what? I think you're in. I think you're in. You're going to be the new kid on the block, blah, blah, blah. You're in. Congratulations and all of that. Now, this is what you need to know. They had actually started to shoot the movie Diamond Ring. This wasn't when they were planning the movie. They
started already.
The movie already. In fact, some of the locations they were using for the movie was right in the University of Lagos. They were recording the movie. But Tadio Gidon's mind, he was not satisfied with the guy that was playing the lead role.
In the role.
Eventually played. The guy was a professional actor. He had had many years of acting under his belt, but Tadio Gidon was not satisfied with the guy. The guy just didn't have it. He didn't look like what Tadio Gidon was looking for. So at the time that Tadio Gidon was auditioning me, they had already started. They had been shooting for quite a few days. So there I was out of the blues. Because he found me, they went back again. They binned and canceled everything that they had shot already.
Started all over again.
With me. I couldn't act. I didn't go out for the audition. I didn't go looking for the audition. I was just in my room chilling. And yet Providence brought that to me. Now, ease. They paid me more money than I'd ever seen in my life in one place. You know, I bought clothes. I was balling on campus, you know, and I was. Now, movie came out and everybody assumed that since I did so well in the film and I became a star, that means that movie roles would just happen for me. Okay? Now, the first film, I did nothing. They came to me. Now I had the impetus of the first film. I had the wind in my sails and I had the energy and the opportunity and the momentum of that movie, right? So it was supposed to be the easiest thing for me to go out and find more movies. I walked the entire Surulere, which was the hub of Nigerian movies in those days. I went from audition to audition to audition to audition for over a year. I didn't get a single role again. Till date, Diamond Ring remains my only movie in the Nigerian movie industry. One I did nothing for, I got on a platter. I got that on a platter and I decided, you know what, let me use the momentum of that to get more. Nothing else. The door shut. Pam! After that. And it was after trying for almost 2 years and I didn't get any roles that I decided to start comedy. And once I started comedy, bam! Those doors opened again. The day that we auditioned for Night of 1,000 Laughs, there were 5 of us who auditioned for Night of 1,000 Laughs in the year 2000. The first person to audition was a guy who was called Emeka. He was from University of Lagos. You have never heard of him, okay? I don't know if you ever heard of him as a comedian. He did so poorly on the night that they canceled him. They canceled him, okay? But there were 4 other guys who auditioned the same night. Their names are Teju Babyface, Basket Mouth, Agodai, and Agosave. 4 guys. But on that night, they chose only 2 guys. They didn't choose Agodai. They didn't choose Agosave. They chose Basket Mouth and Teju Babyface.
Teju Babyface.
I mean, am I funnier than Agodai? Am I funnier than Agosave? I don't know. But on that night, that door had shut for acting. Another door had opened for comedy. I was willing to give up acting and follow another line, comedy. Was I going to make it? No, I don't know. In fact, a lot of people thought I was a fool. So I've left my acting. In fact, Desmond Elliott used to tell me the same thing. I met Desmond in the year 2000, 1999. We're doing a series together on television. While I wasn't getting any movie roles, after a while, a producer for a television series reached out to me. I just came back to my room one day and I found a script on my door. I was in year 4 at that time. 2 years had passed since Diamond Ring. Remember, that was year 2. I was in year 4 when I just came back to my room and I found a script on the door. And so a producer wanted me to read for their television series. And I went to read. And one of the actors, an upcoming actor whom nobody knew, was called Desmond Elliott. And when he met me, I was the star. He said, man, man, that film that you did, oh boy, like say I be you, I would have used all that momentum to get more movie roles. And I said, look, I tried, but he wouldn't believe me. So he thought that I should have used the momentum to get more movie roles. But I knew inside me that door had shut, that gift, that season was over. And so I pursued comedy, and comedy opened up for me. So I don't want to take all the time. That's the point I'm trying to make. How do you know when the season is over? You will know.
Fantastic.
If you do with ease, all of a sudden it becomes so much difficult. It is not all the time that you have to stand there and fight. They say they say that there's a saying I'm trying to look for. When the going gets tough,
the tough gets going.
You need to understand what that means. When the going gets tough, sometimes tough, you have to go.
Other way.
Yeah, you have to get going. Sometimes when the going gets tough, you get going. You move. Sometimes when the going gets tough, you fight. Other times you move. So I come back to the song I started with. Bere, oh bere, ask. Bere, oh bere, ask. Bere, oh bere. Bere, oh bere. Lowo orie, ask your spirit. Koto shonkong, before you do anything. Akunle yonle, you have a destiny. You have been predestined even before you were created. Okay? Ask.
Wow. Wow. Fantastic. Wow. I could have just allowed you to go on and on and on and on. That was mind blowing. I think there are quite a lot of experience in that, and a lot of knowledge and things for us to pick. So yes, it's not until you hold on to what is not working, identify exactly what you're cut for, and go for it. Okay, a lot of people are in the wrong profession today that are actually holding on to it for survival. And that's my second question. When you ask questions to a lot of people, how are you doing? How are you doing? I survive. You're into a job that it's not, you're complaining all the time. I've seen people complaining day in, day out about their job, about their boss, about their businesses, but the following morning they are up again, running again into that same business, into that same job, into that same career. And I keep wondering, then if you're into it, then don't complain anymore. Okay, learn to know where to pull the plug. I know a lot of people will say, oh, not in this kind of economy. When you pull the plug and you don't have any other thing to do, what do you do? How do you survive? And that takes me to another question and say, when you know what you're cut up for, or you know what you can do effortlessly, and you don't have the resource, you went into comedy, and I would say probably you also have a stage when you got into the comedy. But a lot of people today are so funny, but they don't have that stage. A lot of people today are so very good at acting. They don't have that opportunity. So many people today, they want to do the talk show, but there's no platform for them. What would you say? What would be the connect for someone who has the talent, but does not have the platform? Is there an advice you could give for someone in a way to say, okay, this is how to actually attract platforms? You went for auditions. Some people actually today don't even have the opportunity of knowing that there are auditions. So what I watch out for, what I think we should do in order to get us closer to those things. We've asked ahead, we've prayed, we've done everything, but opportunity still has to come up. What are the things we need to do to attract such opportunities?
Knowledge is power. I mean, if you have nothing else, you have knowledge. You must know where to go. I was a young man who wants to be an actor. Was on the phone with me a couple of days ago, and that's what he wanted to know. He wanted to know how he could be an actor. And so I asked him. So he's in the United States of America. And so I asked him, I said, do you have any acting experience? In fact, the first time I asked him was, so you want to be an actor, where do you want to act? In Nigeria or globally? And he said globally. I said, good. Do you have any acting experience? He said, no. I said, that's not going to work globally. If you wanted to be an actor in Nigeria, that's not a big deal. Just go to Nigeria where nepotism is the way. Just know somebody who knows somebody. You don't even have to know how to act for Jack. You might always make it. But on the global stage, you need to have the technical ability. So all the big actors, almost all of them took acting classes, and some of them still take, depending on how challenging a role is. As I said, you're in the United States of America. I said that you have in your hand the magician that answers all questions. Google is your friend. I said, Google acting classes near me. I said, if I'm going to do it for you. So I typed onto my phone into Google acting, and acting was all I typed. And acting classes near me came about 3 dozen suggestions. I said, there you are. And that's even in Texas. That's not even in Hollywood. I said, so the first thing you must do before you start setting out for these opportunities that you claim you're looking for is to prepare yourself. You claim you want to be an actor. Have you used Google to find out the acting? Are you technically
savvy about acting?
Are you technically ready to be an actor? If you are given an audition now, will you be able to interpret the role and read very well? So let's start first. Get the knowledge, get the technical ability. And then after you get the ability, then let's move to the next thing, which will be about, okay, can I find an agent? Do I want to take headshots? Do I want to do a reel, a small show reel, acting reel, and so on and so forth? So the same thing to you about people not having platforms. That is so not true. You guys have, in fact, that is patently untrue. You guys have so many opportunities now that we never had. Everybody has a phone in their hands and they have access to Instagram and YouTube and all these other things, that TikTok, that we never had. You know, there are boys and girls now who are becoming stars overnight, you know, and you know them in Nigeria. You watch their videos. They are the ones getting, from what I'm hearing now from back in Nigeria, if you're going to get any money from advertising, you have to do skits. You have to be doing social media skits.
That's the trend, huh?
That's where all the advertising money is going to. And what do they use? They use a camera, and man, when we started, when I started the Teju Babyface show, are you kidding? You needed 8 cameras. You needed 8 professional cameras. You needed 8 cameramen. You needed a venue. You needed lights. You needed a stage. You needed a director. You needed a producer, costume. You needed all those other things that you guys don't need. So how do you mean you don't have the opportunities? I mean, you have all the platforms you need. Go ahead and do it. That's it. I mean, I don't understand that.
Yeah, thanks. I think that's really where I was driving at. A lot of people today feel they need to know someone to be somebody. Okay, they need to have that platform. That question was actually was a rhetoric one, because a lot of people today don't know the value of what they hold in their hands. They have their phone, and all they can do there is to make unnecessarily chats with people, and not taking the full advantage of such opportunities that they have today, which has changed the global world. A lot of people, I was sharing with some friends today as well about entrepreneurship and how I did a lot of things looking at opportunities around me, how I had to be the suppliers to bedmate furniture at some point with their clothes, for covering clothes, and with the covering chairs and beds, which I actually get from Lagos Island, you know, and still make a lot of money from it. So the opportunities are abound everywhere. There is just for us to really make use of them, identify them, and then go for it. So Falado Samuel dropped a comment there. He says, like the book I read, Who Moved My Cheese? It takes some smart person to know when to move to do something. How can you relate talent and becoming a cult member, or join secret society to showcase your talent? Thank you very much. Did you say, Senior Teju, how can you still be looking like social prefect after so long? I think it goes down to the fact that you really.
Those are my federal government college Bomosho people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So while people come up with their questions, I have another one here. So a lot of people, especially those in the music industry, now let me go a little bit spiritual, believe that your talent or your skills must always be paid for. So I've seen a lot of frustrated keyboardists, guitarists jump from one church to the other just because they feel that a particular church or a particular denomination does not appreciate them enough. And while some pastors also believe that it is a talent that was given to you by God, use it for God and not to make money. What is your take on this?
Okay, could you ask that again?
I'm using the
Yeah.
I'm using the keyboardist as an example, or a guitarist in a church. I've seen a lot of them jump from one church to another just because they were not paid well enough in commensurate to what they think their talent or what they think the value they had into that particular denomination or the particular church. And while some spiritual men of God also feel that talents are not meant to be rewarded because it is not a business. So they want to have you in their church, play the keyboard, play the guitar, and they say, God bless you. So what is your take on this?
Oh, I mean the pastor is absolutely correct. The pastor is absolutely right. You you just have to let him show you the letter that he wrote or the receipt that he got when they went to get the guitar that you are playing, the place they went to get it. He just needs to prove to you as the guitarist that when they went to get the guitar, when they got there, they told the white man who was making the guitar
It's for church.
yeah, we're doing it for church. And then the white man gave it to them for free because it is church. Yes, if you can prove that to you, and then the microphone and the drums and the lights and the chairs and the venue itself and everything, the clothes that he's wearing, as long as he can prove to you that everywhere he went to get all those things, they got there and they said, this is for God. And those people said, oh, is it for God, my brother? Is it for God, my brother? Okay, just take it. Just take it. If you can prove that to you, then you too, you need to do stuff for free. Then even beyond that, then you also need to take pastor to your landlord. And pastor also needs to to your landlord that, look, this man is playing in the church, he's playing for God. And then if you can get the landlord to agree that the landlord should not take money, and also to your children's schools and to the markets and everything, as long as everybody can agree that's for God, then why not? I mean, God gave you the talent. You should use it for God.
Wow, what a very hilarious way of answering.
The Bible says the labor of the fool wearies every one of them, for they do not know how to go to the city. Okay.
Thank you very much. That's just
and then it says that in all labor there is profit. You need to understand that in all labor there is profit, but idle chatter leads to poverty. In all labor there is profit. Again, you need to understand where you're coming from when you're doing these things. Are you a professional musician, or
that's another thing?
Are you serving with your gifts in the church? You need to know where you stand. Okay. The churches in the United States, I've been to a few Nigerian churches, and when I get there, I remember the first place I went to a Nigerian church and I saw a white guy playing the guitar, in a Nigerian church. So there they went to the Nigerian church singing, Ebu, 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 oh, church in that, oh, Malicha. Yeah, you know that song now. And the white guy is, the white guy is playing. So I'm very impressed. You people have a white guy attending your church and playing the guitar for you. They said, who? He's a hired musician that comes every Sunday. They pay him. So they pay the white guy. Okay, but I didn't ask about all the other Nigerians. Okay, maybe they pay them too, but I will not be surprised if they don't pay them. Now, that's not a problem if that's what you do as your service to God. Okay, that's not a problem. That's between you and God. But if this is what you do professionally, okay, if this is how you butter your bread, okay, you better get paid. Okay, you better get paid.
Absolutely. Great. Thanks so much. I'm going to take you a little bit into this topic, mentoring. So in your career, did you actually get a mentor to help you get where you are today? And what would be your advice to younger people coming up, or stars or comedians like you, or people that want to choose another path in any other industry? What would be your take on mentoring? How important is mentoring to you?
Okay, so I wrote a book called Forget Principles, Find a Mentor, which was my second book.
There. Yeah.
And what we've actually done is that we've combined both books. My first book, Secret of the Streets, and my second book, Forget Principles, Find a Mentor. We've actually combined both books into a joint volume, and we have released that volume in the United States. Here you go.
Wow.
So you will see that this is Secrets of the Street, but it also concerns Forget Principles, Find a Mentor. Okay, so I would
You're going to
encourage.
tell us how to get this.
It's on Amazon. Again, you need Nigeria. Nigeria needs to, if you're Nigerian, you need to get on the cutting edge of the world. If it's a book, you shouldn't be asking anybody, how do I get a book? Okay, any writer, any publisher who is worth their salt is at least on Amazon. And Amazon delivers to Nigeria now. Now it might take a few more days. Okay, but you can order it now from Nigeria. So go on Amazon, order. And last I checked, the ATM cards that Nigerian banks issue work on Amazon. So order it on Amazon. It's on Amazon. I didn't. The first one I printed in Nigeria. You don't publish in Nigeria, you print. Yes, the first one I printed in Nigeria, and I had to do all the distribution myself. So back then you could have asked me, where do I get the book? Then I'd have said, oh, go to this place, go to that place. But now we're published in America. It's on Amazon, it's on Barnes and Nobles, it's everywhere where they sell books. Okay, go for it.
Great. Thank you so much. So I got a question here from Didi again. Yeah. Did you ever try movie production? That's to you. That's number one question.
Nope.
Okay. Number two, she says, can you share some insight into some of the biggest challenges you faced in producing the Teju Babyface?
Where do I start from? There's nowhere in the world where a talk show is produced independently. You don't produce a talk show. It's never done. You don't produce. There's a guy I grew up knowing. He's called Arsenio Hall. Now you will know Arsenio Hall more with Coming to America, especially if you saw Coming to America too. Arsenio Hall is Semi, Eddie Murphy's sidekick, the supporting actor in Coming to America. But Arsenio Hall he came to limelight. His seminal moment was the Arsenio Hall talk show in the 90s. And so the Arsenio Hall talk show was cancelled. But how do you cancel a show? So if they canceled your show, then do it by yourself now.
Abi?
Yes, now, but you don't do a talk show by yourself, not in developed economies. No, it's impossible. You don't. I was in Kenya in 2011. We were at a television conference called Discop. It was a television conference where you showcase conferences from all over the world for African and global content buyers. And I remember that, so we had a stall. It was like a trade fair. So you'd have a stall and you'd have screens in your stall, and then your content will be playing, and then potential buyers will come, headphones, and they'll watch it. And if they like the content, you guys will discuss about you selling it and licensing it to them to play in their country, on their network, on their TV stations and all that. And so a man came and saw the show, put the headphones on, watched it for a few minutes. I'm like, man, my friend, this is fantastic. My name is Unduflu Udupi Kata. I am I'm the director of one of the TV stations here in Kenya. And we have a show like this, my friend. In fact, this one, our own show is hosted by one of our leading comedians here. He charges us a lot of money, very expensive. So this is very, very good. Maybe we can find a way to collaborate, my friend. So who produces this in Nigeria for you? Is this NTA or perhaps AIT, or is it DSTV? I said, no, we independently produce. He said, perhaps you did not understand my question, my friend. Which network produces? I know you probably have your own production company that works in the production, but I'm saying the network that, funds all this. I'm like, no, we do everything. It's like, that is impossible, my friend. You cannot be telling the truth. Nobody independently produces a talk show. Definitely not on this level. It's impossible. Wow. So what we did was impossible. You don't produce a talk show by yourself, and the proof of the fact that it was impossible was we produced that talk show, we're extremely successful, and while our success continues, it remained and continues. One day I said, you know what, I've gotten all I'll get from doing this thing. I'm not about to spend the rest of my life independently producing a talk show just because I come from a country that doesn't get it. You know what, I'm going to America. I'm going to spend my money and have a good time and go to Hollywood and, have a great time. Now, if I like, maybe I come back and do it. If I don't like, maybe I don't. Or who knows, maybe I'm in conversations with American people right now and we're going to do it on a higher level. You don't know. But the proof of the fact is that the way we do things in Nigeria is an anomaly. So that should answer your question. Nobody should produce a talk show. And if for any reason you have to produce the talk show by yourself because nobody believed in you, then in places, in economies where there is, in civilized economies, let me put it that way.
Yeah.
In civilized economies, if you had to produce by yourself to prove to the world that you could do it, the moment you produced the first season and it was a success, the system takes over. But not in Nigeria. Never.
We'll get there. We'll get there. We'll pray.
I wouldn't say that, but you can be happy and have faith.
Don't tell me you've lost hope in Nigeria.
Lost? No. Lost hope?
Maybe you never had it.
I always have hope in my heart. But there are some things that, you don't hope for. Are you hoping to be a white man tomorrow?
No. Let's just pray. Okay, so she asked the third question. She says,
ever heard though that faith without works is dead?
It's
being
dead.
alone? Okay, so you can pray all you want, but without the works, nah. Hope all you want.
Okay, Sid Lips. Can you share some books that have inspired you in the last few months?
Oh yes. At the moment, I'm a bit read out. So when it means read out, there's a book I have where I need to read. Let me read something for you from that book. It will underscore the point I'm trying to make to you. Just hold on. Pray that I can find the book. Otherwise, I'm just gonna have to quote for you verbatim. Okay? Maybe not verbatim. Let me just try.
Guys, you can keep your questions coming. We still have about 20 minutes into the show. To go on the show. Let's make it more interactive. Let's ask Teju more questions about personal stuff, personal breakthroughs.
You guys are in luck.
Tell us.
You're in luck. Okay. It's a book called Key Person of Influence. Okay. Buy two books. Buy my book Secrets of the Streets and then buy Key Person of Influence by Daniel Priestley. Okay, please don't ask me again. People are going to say, what was that book? What was that book? I'm going to hold it up for a few 5 seconds, okay?
Key Person of Influence. I'm just going to type it there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to read a line for you in the book, okay? Okay. Oh, by the way, this is my copy. So just in case you think I just buy books and see, it's like that all over. It says, you do not need to learn new skills. You are ready to create value now. You are no longer on this planet to be a consumer. You are here to produce. You are ready to establish yourself as a key person of influence through creative output, not further consumption, okay? All of your future learnings will come from the process of producing value, not pursuing other people's stories or chasing distant trends.
Say that again, please. Say that
you
last
are
part.
ready to establish yourself as a key person of influence through creative output, not further consumption. All of your future learning will come from the process of producing value, not through pursuing other people's stories or chasing distant trends.
Wow.
What that
That's
means
deep.
for me, there's a level where you acquire knowledge and you acquire knowledge and you acquire knowledge and you read and you read and you read and you read, and then you are read out. You get to a point where you have no more to learn, in the manner of speaking. King Solomon said that too much knowledge wearies the soul. Okay, so you read up to a point and you know that you are read out. In short, you are full as a cup or a bottle. You need to use everything that you have learned and pour it out for you to be filled. So yes, I haven't. I'm filled. I'm at the brim. Okay, but if I had to recommend two books for you, I'd say get Secrets of the Streets by Teju Babyface and get Key Person of Influence by Daniel Priestley. But that doesn't mean I've stopped reading. So what do I read now? I've spent the last couple of months going back and reading my fiction stories, my fantasy stories. I used to read a lot of fiction And then I started to read empowering books. And now that I've spent years reading all those and I'm read out, now I'm back to reading fiction. So at the time I'm reading The Belgariad. The Belgariad is a story, was written by David Eddings. The Belgariad, just think Harry Potter, okay? Think a story like Harry Potter. So you have kings and queens and sorcerers and magic and all of that, dragons and castles. Yeah. So that's what I'm reading at this time.
Amazing. Awesome. Thank you so much. A lot of us still struggle with this. Someone says you want to keep something from an African, put it in the book. I have quite a lot of books right now in my library that I struggle reading these books now due to workload and other things. Yeah, but thanks for this encouragement. It's really insightful, and I'm going to get back to it. All right, so I have another question from.
Okay,
Toby.
final question. I gotta go. I got twins.
It's the final question. I think I have two more. Toby says, my question is, how can I upscale my pricing structure as a compare without losing most of my present clients? I've been an event host for about 6 years, and I'd say the pay hasn't been bad, but I'm well convinced I deserve better, and my worry is losing those clients who consistently get me jobs. Did you get that?
Yeah, I understand. It's a challenge that every compare is going to have to face. Okay, first of all, I have always thought from my experience that the MC market was just was like a finishing house, was like a halfway house. I've never considered the MC market as an end in itself.
Yeah.
I've always considered as a means to an end. The MC market is where upcoming comedians, presenters, and all sorts of people who have, the gift of the gab to some extent and some degree. It's where they go to earn money for a while. You're not supposed to remain there forever. There's a reason why in the most powerful and the most advanced country in the world, the United States of America, there's a reason why the most successful people are not MCs. There's a reason why Kevin Hart is not waking up thinking of how many weddings am I going to MC this month. There's a reason why Steve Harvey is not thinking of how many birthday parties do I have this week. There's a reason why Dave Chappelle is not waking up and saying, man, I haven't gotten any end of year party for this end of year. It's not a viable means to the top. Now, there are some people that make it their life's work to be in the MC market, and I do not begrudge them, neither do I cast aspersions on them. Just know that the MC market is a commodities market, okay? It's a commodities market. It's commodity, is extremely commoditized. It's common. There is nothing that stands you out as an MC. Nothing. There's nothing. You cannot look. By the grace of God, we have gone to the top of that market. We have commanded fees that would blow your mind, okay? And we were the ones who did it with the most amount of branding and differentiation, okay? Given that I learned at the feet of the masters, I learned at the feet of Alibaba and Basoj. Those were the two guys who trained me. So we went to the top, and I was only able to go that far because those guys had said it that way. Alibaba was charging millions. Yeah. Now, while I couldn't charge as much as Alibaba, but I was so good in what I was doing that I charged just a little, very little below him. Just very little below him. So I was earning millions as well, at some point. But that's because we were so good doing what we're doing. And again, it was at a time when there weren't many people in it. And then when many people still came in it, then we raised our prices. Why? Why did we raise our prices? When I raised my price and I started to charge millions, I saw an invoice that I charged somebody 2010 just yesterday. I laughed because I charged them 1 million naira. I'm like, man, I was charging 1 million naira in 2010, But what happened when I did that was, whereas I would have maybe 5 events in a month, the moment I started to charge a million, I started to have only 1. Now, did it bother me?
I think that's as fair as well.
Yeah, did it bother me? Did it bother me a bit? Did it bother me so much? Not really. Why? I had the Teju Babyface show going. This was just something I was doing on the side. So for me, if you're going to change, if you're going to increase your charges as an MC, be prepared to lose markets. You only increase your charges as an MC. Usually, let me tell you the secret of why you increase your charges as an MC. You only increase your charges as an MC usually because you believe, and I think you said the same thing. You believe that you're putting in more than you're getting paid. So when you increase your charges, you are usually saying, in not so many words, to cheap clients, that it is not clients like you that I'm looking for.
And I want and more.
Yes, I
My
want
value has
bigger
increased.
and better clients. Unfortunately, because you're in a commodities market, you're not really going to find bigger and better clients. Okay. The moment you start to charge more, you're already saying that you're tired of that market and you want out of that market. That was one of the reasons why I started to charge more. I was tired of MCing. I was tired. And so I
So
figured
you were being
charge,
selective about.
yeah, so I figured if I charge more, I will get less jobs. And if I kept charging more, then I'll get less jobs. And I got to a point, thank God my lawyer and manager is on this thing. Demilade can tell you, we got to a point where we would do maybe one job in 3 months shortly before I left Nigeria. One job. But that one job will be the amount that all other MCs charge for 10, 10 jobs. And I liked it that way. So if it is your, and why did I like it that way? Because again, I'd moved on. I'm not a career MC. I'd moved on to other things, you know. I just did that. It was money in the pocket.
So it's basically not about the numbers of jobs you do. It's about
so if you intend to remain a career MC, which I would not advise you.
Yeah.
If your intention to remain a career MC, then you cannot increase your charges. You better just be collecting that 50K or 30K that you're collecting and just maintain. Okay. But if, as I advise, you need to look to the next thing, because I don't think you were created to be an MC. MC was just something that took care of you for a season. You need to move on. If you want to move on ahead, discover what the next best thing is, and then increase your prices and your price rather, and then move on.
Wow.
Or don't believe me, don't believe me and increase it anyway, and let's see how that works out.
Thank you so much, Teju Babyface. It's really a pleasure having you on the show today. I had fun. Okay. Someone says final question. All right. How did Nigeria EU manage through the recent Texas cold? I saw one of your videos where you were almost freezing.
He didn't manage. He didn't manage at all. He did not manage.
But we thank God for your life, and thank God you, at least even if you didn't manage, you still made it. That's key.
We made it. Thank God.
Are there electronic versions of your books? Do you have the ebooks?
Oh yes, there's the ebook. There you go. You find Kindle, you find ebook on Amazon. It's all there. Look, hey, we're published in America. It's not nice. We are published. There are all the versions.
We don't hear.
We are published.
Rub it in. Great. Thank you so much. Thanks for coming on the show, Masterclass with Topper Bandele. And I really say a very big thank you to my brother, Demilade, for bringing you on. It's really, really a pleasure. Screaming thank you on top of my lungs. That's Toby. Thank you very much. I really appreciate this. And for those that joined at some point, we had about 77 people in the room. Thank you so much. That's quite a good number. And I would like to let you know that this show is on record, and we will also have it on our YouTube page. So if you want to have access to this again, or share with your friends, please just go on the YouTube. Maybe by tomorrow thereabout, I'll try. Eman, please try and post this as early as possible, maybe tomorrow morning, so people can have this on YouTube. So for those that do not know YouTube, and I'm going to just post it again. I did that at the beginning of the show, but in case you didn't come in on time, I'm just going to post it again for you. Just a second. So,
okay, can I go while you do housekeeping? Let me just say thank you to everybody.
When are you coming back to Nigeria? That will be the last question I'm going to ask.
We die here. Come back where? We die here. Come back to what?
But anytime you come visiting, we'll love to come and say hi.
I spent 40 years of my life in Nigeria already, you know, and then you can always reach me this way. And the twins are not old enough to travel yet, so not for quite a bit. And besides, when you guys get rid of mosquitoes, I'll be back. Last year was the first time in my entire life. Don't
rub it. You're rubbing this in too much.
I didn't treat malaria, you know. So now we're global now. But seriously, I do come and go, you know.
Okay.
I've been there a few times, but I don't announce. when I'm coming. Security has to be very tight. So
No, I know how to find you. I'll definitely get you.
so thank you, everybody. Thank you for having me. God bless you.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure. Thank you very much. We appreciate you. Once again, thanks for everyone. Thank you so much for joining the show today. I had a lot of fun, and I'm sure you also have fun. This is Masterclass with Topo Mandalay, and if you want to be part of the Masterclass with Topo Mandalay community, join our WhatsApp community where we share a lot of great stuff. And we focus on kids between the ages of 5 to 10. So we want you as a parent to come. That is the WhatsApp group. Please join. So tonight, again, as I said at the beginning of the show, we are launching the MCTB Health and Fitness Club. So if you want to really upgrade in terms of your health, your fitness, your well-being, join us on this community as well. We have 5-point agenda, which has to do with food fasting, which has to do with stress management. We're going to talk about fitness. We're going to have online exercises, and it's going to be fun. Okay, please join. It's quite it's going to be an amazing one. All right, it's 7:22 p.m. Nigerian time, and I want to say a very, very big thank you to every one of you that joined the show tonight. It's really a pleasure having you. This is Topo Mandalay once again, and I say have a wonderful weekend. And don't forget to join MCTB Module 17 tomorrow. We've made it a back-to-back, and tomorrow we're talking about how to be a millionaire, so making of a millionaire. And I'm bringing Jimmy Tewe. Jimmy Tewe is going to come on the show tomorrow, 8:30 p.m. Nigerian time. If you want to have more updates on that as well, just go on the Instagram page. You can have more information on that. So till I come your way again tomorrow, have a wonderful weekend. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Slam dunk, are you ready to make me?